Hey, and welcome back to the Business Real Talk. On this episode, we're going to talk about the inbound demand strategy that enables your buyers to self serve their way through the sales process so you can increase intent and conversions without always being on. Now, let's get real. One of the biggest complaints I hear from business owners that are looking to grow and scale, whether that's to their first 100,000 or to their next million, is that they're spending so much of their time on marketing and sales efforts, and whether that's them or to a team that they've outsourced to, they're finding that the growing demand necessary for them in order to create the results they want is taking its toll. Now, you're probably ready to say goodbye to those outdated grow marketing strategies and those high pressure sales tactics, or even playing the numbers games that just are necessary in order to keep the lights on. It's actually time for some change. And today's hot take is that we're going to switch from being in the game of collecting leads to learning how to create demand using this inbound demand strategy. The rules have changed. It used to be that the company with the most leads generated had a leg up. You'd brag about your overflowing audience or your huge list like it was a sign of status. And the goal was to flood your world with as many leads as humanly possible so that you could slowly but surely convert those leads into buyers. Now, let's change the game and start looking at growth as less of a chase, chasing leads, chasing team, chasing the ability to keep up, and instead approach it from creating and sustaining demand so that you become the person that people are chasing after. Now, in today's episode, we're going to get real about how we actually leverage that inbound demand strategy and how that's the answer to scaling your revenue while decreasing your volume and creating the sustainable growth your business needs. Now, it's time to step away from that lead generation, right? Instead, I want you to understand that the challenges that you faced in recent years, many coaching course creators have struggled with, is that you're trying to chase this same idea that's been taught over and over again. Now, I want you to think for a second. How would your business and your life change if you were waking up every morning with qualified leads in your inbox, asking how they could get started or what the next step with working with you would look like without you needing to spend hours on manual outreach or creating dozens of pieces of content or hiring a huge team to try and keep up with it? That's what my client Natalie experienced when she learned how to leverage inbound demand within her marketing. Or imagine for a second that you had more time and freedom to focus on the things you love, like going to the spa once a week or hanging out with your kids at 2 p.m. or just getting on the plane and going across the country to visit friends whenever you wanted. Now, what you need in order to achieve that is to have the systems that are working seamlessly in the background to bring in and pre sell your ready to buy dream clients without needing the headache of hiring and managing a huge team, which is what Kristen was able to do when she created inbound demand so she could quit the exhausting cycle of hiring salespeople, running launches, trying to fill their calendar with enough leads to meet her monthly goals and cover her team costs. And instead, now she just takes 3 to 4 calls a week and keeps her programs full. This revolution is not about surviving, but thriving in an ever evolving landscape of entrepreneurship. And I want you to see exactly what this looks like. Now, to understand how inbound demand works, I want you to first understand what it looks like. So, let me introduce you to who I call Everywhere Emily. You may not know her personally, but I bet you can relate to her. Everywhere Emily is an ambitious entrepreneur with big dreams for her business. And she has a life changing program that she knows is really going to change the world. Now, inspired by her mission, she's been working tirelessly, creating TikToks daily, growing her Facebook group to an impressive 10K followers, and trying to keep up with the ever changing landscape of online marketing. From ad changes to rising costs for leads, she's been juggling multiple platforms, repurposing her content for Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn, all in a bid to go big and gain consistent leads that turn into paying clients. But amidst the hustle and bustle, Emily has found herself caught up in a cycle of always trying to keep up, riding the wave of the latest marketing trends and hoping to be seen as the go to expert in her field. People know of her and they hang around to watch her content, but they're not quite sure if she's the one they want to turn over their hard earned cash to work with. And at first, she told herself it's fine because it's just temporary. Eventually, all of these late nights and working through the weekends, missing important moments with her friends and family, and feeling her energy and health deteriorate will all be worth it because trying to be everywhere will eventually make her the money she needs to build a team that finally allows her to take a little break. And her team can work just as hard as she was to be everywhere for Emily. because she's so caught up in the weeds of day to day that everywhere Emily never really gets a chance to step back and recognize that her underlying philosophy and strategy are what's broken. Instead, Emily keeps chasing the elusive dream of making it in her business, constantly rationalizing the burnout, the frustration, putting her entire life on hold, convinced that the end will justify the means. Now, every passing month, Emily finds herself growing increasingly discouraged. The weight of burnout looms over her, and she sinks deeper into credit card debt from investing in coaches, contractors, and ads, all in the hopes that the next big gamble will finally pay off. However, despite all of her efforts, she remains far from achieving the financial and impact goals that she once envisioned. It's like chasing a moving target, always just out of reach, no matter how hard she tries. Like many entrepreneurs who use the Everywhere Emily strategy, Emily is at a crossroads. She can continue down the path of trying to be everywhere and do all the things, or she can let go of the exhausting cycle of trying to keep up with the latest trends and pushing herself to be everywhere at once. But unless Emily makes a big change, it's unlikely that she may ever experience the breakthrough that she longs for. So let me tell you on the flip side about Resonant Rhonda, who used to be everywhere Emily, but Rhonda reached a pivotal moment where she decided to hit the pause button, take a step back, and reevaluate her approach. She realized that she could no longer sustain the exhausting cycle of trying to keep up with the latest trends and pushing herself to be everywhere at once, chasing leads and trying to chase the demand that was constantly shifting. And instead, she chose to prioritize sustainability and effectiveness, aligning her strategy with her goals and her values. Now, Rhonda recognizes that it's not about being everywhere, but about creating resonance with her audience. She wanted to be remembered, not just seen, and she aimed to make an instant impact. She focused on one platform. She created 5 pieces of strategic content a week, but with a fresh, innovative approach. And as a result, people began reaching out to her daily, expressing interest in working with her. They resonated with her authentic message and recognized that she was an innovator in her field. Now, Rhonda recognized that many people fall into the trap of trying to emulate Everywhere Emily's approach, but she chose a different path. She became Resonant Rhonda by prioritizing resonance, understanding how to create demand instead of chasing it, and realizing that quality reigned over quantity, which allowed her to create more genuine connections with her audience. She learned that being strategic and intentional rather than spreading herself too thin was the key to success in her business. Rhonda's decision to shift her focus and adopt a sustainable and authentic approach has paid off. She now enjoys a steady stream of clients who are drawn to her message and innovative approach. She no longer feels overwhelmed, burnt out, or questioning what she needs to do next, but instead, she feels energized by the impact that she's making in her field. Now, Rhonda's journey from an everywhere Emily to a resonant Rhonda serves as a powerful example of the importance of aligning one's strategy with the goals and values and focusing on creating resonance with your audience. It highlights that sustainability, predictability, and authenticity in a purpose driven approach can lead to a long term success and fulfillment in entrepreneurship. So, I'm going to ask you a really important question. Are you choosing to be everywhere, Emily? Needing to keep chasing after success, after leads, after demand, and it keeps slipping through your fingertips? Or are you tired of being seen as one of many options, fighting to stay top of mind, and hopefully being seen as the solution your clients need? And are you ready to choose to be resonant Rhonda? That's my question to you. Are you choosing to be everywhere Emily or resonant Rhonda? I want you to decide that here and now today and make sure that every single action you take from today forward is built around that version of who you want to be, Resonant Rhonda or Everywhere Emily. I'm hoping that you've chosen Resonant Rhonda, but I want to hear from you. So after you've listened to this episode, go over to Instagram at Next Level Up CEO, send me a message and just type in Everywhere Emily or Resonant Rhonda, because I want to be able to cheer you on and support you in this next huge step that you're taking. Now, taking the path less traveled and choosing to be the best, most innovative solution, creating inbound demand where leads come to you and happily handing over their credit card and thanking you for a creative solution that they've desperately been seeking for is tough sometimes to prioritize. And it's about prioritizing resonance over omnipresence, especially when it seems like every coach or guru out there is promoting the importance of constantly showing up, posting, and staying active on the latest platforms. We're here to shake shit up and to disrupt the way things have been doing so that you can create sustainability and predictability in a business that thrives without you needing to always be on. So, next, I want to talk about what it looks like to quit volume marketing. Now, just last week, I was listening to a well known marketing guru, and he preached the idea of omnipresence and being everywhere. You've heard it before. If you want to be known, then you need to be seen, right? And this advice has so many people stuck on every platform, learning algorithms, finding trending sounds, and creating enough content to fill a large stadium. And you're starting to wonder, how the hell are you going to keep up? And maybe you've looked at hiring a team, someone who can create and produce dozens of pieces of content for you, like Alex Hermosi. Or maybe you've thought to yourself, maybe I just need to go full time into the marketing side of things and hire someone to support on the back end of helping my clients get results. Either way, none are ideal. And I really want you to hear this, that omnipresence is like a hot and heavy approach to marketing that's just going to leave you feeling burnt out, constantly chasing relevance instead of being truly unforgettable. Now, omnipresence is like that overly eager date who texts you nonstop, trying to stay relevant instead of being memorable. It's how we become the everywhere Emily who burns the candle at both ends and wondering if we're ever going to catch a break. But remember, we want to be the legendary resident Rhonda. And it's time to see through the smoke and mirrors and the strategy that we've bought into. And the biggest illusion of all is the idea that visibility is king and that simply being present equates to authority. I want to say that again. The idea that visibility is king is what I want you to erase from your memory going forward. And that the idea of simply being present equates to authority. Now, chasing after a massive following or sky high view counts is like trying to build a sustainable business with monopoly money, right? It seems impressive on the front end, but it's not going to pay the bills in the long run. Instead of getting caught up in that hype of visibility, the key is to create a lasting and memorable impression. So I'm going to share with you exactly how we do this, and I'm going to break it all down for you. So stick with me. Now, what I want you to understand is that being remembered means that you need to be unforgettable from the very first interaction. I want you to hear that, let it settle into you, remove the thought of, I need to go post more content or I need to show up in more places, and instead ask yourself, what meaning can I leave that when someone meets me for the very first time, it creates such deep resonance that you're positioned in a way that they can't stop thinking about you. You're the person that they've created blinders for and tunnel vision to pay attention to because they understand that you have targeted and created this lasting impression with them, that you are now the holy grail solution to their problems and you become truly incomparable. That is what it's all about. Screw the idea of trying to just push out more stuff and market more and create more touch points. What really matters is, am I leaving a lasting impression every single time somebody comes in contact with me? But more importantly, from the very first moment they meet me. From that moment that you make that introduction, your audience needs to be hooked, craving more with every touch point. They stalk your profile, they join your group, they binge watch your channel. They'll ditch those other gurus like a bad date and listen to you with total intent. They'll swipe right on your offers without hesitation, knowing that you are the one. They'll shout your message from the rooftops and eagerly invite others to join your community because it resonates with them on a deep, soulful level. This is the transformation of being the only and incomparable solution. And it starts with a message that clearly commands their attention, positioning you as the innovative solution they've been eagerly awaiting for. Now, I want to be clear because I think there's a lot of talk in the industry about marketing and sales, and all of those are important. But the key that unlocks all doors when it comes to creating deep resonance and becoming unforgettable and honestly becoming a market of one is innovation. So I want to be clear on that because I know there's tons of people out there in your ear talking about marketing and sales, and I love those things. Obviously, I'm a marketer at heart for 20 years, but ultimately, what I'm going to say to you that many people won't even think twice about and won't be willing to do the work for is that innovation is the key that unlocks all doors. So you can't just settle for being seen. To truly make the impact you know that you're meant for, you must genuinely resonate with your audience, leaving that lasting impression and wield the unparalleled power of having what we call innovative authority. Now, I'm going to tell you this again. There is a reason I'm the only person in the industry who teaches how to develop and sustain innovation in your business, and actually driving and pulling out that innovation for you is because it's not easy. People don't understand how to do it. They can't do it for themselves because of what I call proximity genius. You need the strategies, the approach, the method that allows you to draw out that innovation, even if you don't know what the hell it is, and then be able to put it together into your methodology, and then top it off, have the messaging that communicates that. That is the only way for you to truly create inbound demand that is sustainable, scalable, and allows you to have something that is going to last a lifetime, and where you create a space where your competition is irrelevant. Anything less than that is going to put you in a state of chasing. So, how can you create a lasting impression, and how can you move away from the content creation hamster wheel of dealing with live launches, expensive ads, and the overwhelming task of figuring out, outlining, and recording over 20 pieces of content a week? It comes down to you understanding that innovation is the driving force. Okay. I'm going to say this again. Innovation is the driving force. There is a reason it's the very first thing I teach to my clients when we go through the EZS method. We build out innovation because that is ultimately the key that unlocks all other doors. Having masterful marketing, having the best sales system in the world, having a program that's like got all the bells and whistles is nothing until we have our innovation, because innovation is what creates a space of our own. So, what I'm going to share with you of this point forward is under the impression, let's pretend you and I have worked together, we've created innovation, we've got all the amazing, important pieces, then it's about creating inbound demand. Okay. So, once we have the innovation that we can communicate, it's about creating a space and a process that allows you to create inbound demand, so that you have no longer the need for always on marketing, which relies again on constant visibility and attention. So whether through paid ads or turning out content faster than Hailey Bieber copies Selena Gomez's latest videos, you're constantly going to be at the mercy of ever-changing marketing trends until you understand that first and foremost comes innovation, and then comes having an evergreen inbound demand system. Now, what our evergreen inbound demand system is a strategic approach that fuses innovation and decision-making psychology through a weekly content system to drive conversions using 3 to 4 pieces of crafted content each week that not only brings in high intent, ready to invest leads into your world, but it doesn't stop there. This same content can then be used systematically to convert those leads into I'm in clients in just 5 days. Let's break it down. Imagine that those 4 pieces of strategic content transforms your client generation machine that not only attracts them, but also turns them into pre-sold clients. It's like a mix of the ultimate marketing alchemy, where 4 pieces of content are transformed into a potent mix of premium high intent clients who are ready to rock and roll with your business. Okay. So let's break down what this looks like. Now, the inbound demand system is like a powerful magnet with 2 poles: mimic decision making and the OneTouch content system. Now, just like magnets attract and pull in metal objects, the inbound demand marketing system attracts and pulls in high intent leads and then effortlessly guides them towards becoming your premium clients. So let me break down these 2 parts at one time. Let's start with mimic decision making. Now, mimic decision making is our proprietary sales psychology formula that acts as a strategic GPS. Okay. It guides your audience through the 5 questions that they naturally ask themselves when making a decision. This is called decision hierarchy. It proactively addresses their needs, their concerns, and objections, creating a seamless customer experience where ultimately they're able to sell themselves and self-lead them through your system so that they can go from cold to sold in a matter of days. Now, the 5 questions that mimic decision-making covers are: I have a need, I'm looking for a solution, I'm wondering how your solution is different in comparison to others, will this work for me? And number 5, how do I get this solution? So just like a GPS navigates you to your destination, mimic decision making steers your audience along that decision making pathway, proactively addressing their needs, their concerns, and their objections. It does this by aligning with their natural decision process instead of trying to pressure them through one that doesn't feel natural to them. Now, mimic decision making helps you anticipate and address potential objections head on, creating a smooth and frictionless journey that leads to an easy yes from your perfect fit clients. Now, our entire marketing and sales systems are built to take people through mimic decision making using specific language, mechanisms, and asks that act like a conversion staircase. With each step, people are moving up to the next step, ascending to your ultimate landing, a heck yes into your programs. You're building that yes. You're taking each necessary step that builds upon each other to that ultimate yes. So if mimic decision making serves as the guiding pull of the magnet, directing your audience through their natural decision making process and obliterating objections before they even arise, then on the other hand, the OneTouch content system acts as the attracting pull. What it does is it implements the mimic decision making process into an actionable and repeatable machine that turns leads into pre-sold clients. Now, this approach shifts from pushing people and instead allowing them to lead themselves to a decision, resulting in confident and empowered decisions, which is ultimately what we want, right? We want inbound demand where people are able to take themselves through a self-led process of getting to that yes without you needing to leverage pressure or dragging them along the process. Now, the OneTouch content system breaks down the macro client pathway into micro decisions through that process in your weekly content, helping your people make specific decisions in a matter of days without you needing to push or drag. Ultimately, what that means is that you're creating weekly client acquisition. So here's what it looks like. Step one, we identify and leverage what we call different demand angles so that we can find each individual's personality or their person's trigger points in order to make a purchase. So everyone's is different, and what matters to you may not matter to me. Now, what the best way I can explain this is I tell people that the reason that I buy Nike shoes may be totally different than the reason somebody else does. Everyone buys for different reasons and different triggers that happen. So I might buy Nike shoes because I think they're going to make me run faster, and you might buy Nike shoes because you believe that they're a sign of status. Everyone has their individualized reasons why they make purchasing decisions, and it's our job to identify what those demand angles are and then be able to systematically speak to those, driving that decision based on those specific trigger points. So step two is once you select that demand angle, then it's a matter of leveraging our OneTouch content system that really does take that angle and breaks it down from one macro piece of content into three micro pieces that create micro decisions along that pathway. What it's doing is it's stacking interest, stacking authority, stacking demand so that people are able to buy over 5 days. Now, step three is you take those 4 pieces of content and then leverage our inbound demand system to distribute that content using a leverage system that translates those contents into multi-use led tools. Simply put, what led me to $100,000 months in my business was not ads. I just started running ads, and it really did come down to leveraging this system. I leveraged 4 to 5 pieces of content. We've actually narrowed it down to 4 now. 4 pieces of content. I leveraged Facebook and free Facebook communities, and we literally just applied this. Why? Because most people teach content as this idea of we're just putting something out there. They're looking at marketing and sales as separate systems. And we're looking at it as marketing is the way that you get in front of new people, and sales is how you convert those new people. And ultimately, both of those need to work hand in hand. So when we developed the inbound demand system, it took both of those into account and leveraged just 4 pieces of content in order for our clients to do this. So before we automate, before we jump into leveraging bingeable sales systems, and a lot of people don't like hearing this, but the reality is that in order for you to get to a point where you can leverage automation within your business, and the bingeable sales system is a form of automation, I tell my clients you first have to master creating inbound demand, because creating inbound demand means I have a repeatable process, a validated message, and a mechanism that allows me to bring people in and drive conversions. Once I'm able to establish that, then I can automate it. Never before that. Now, through those 3 simple steps, you're creating a flood of pre-sold inbound leads, creating a pipeline of prospects who are primed and ready to take action. So whether that's scheduling a sales call, if that's your process, submitting an application, or engaging in whatever desired action you have, leads are coming in from a place of eagerness and ready to move forward with your offering, reducing the need for volume marketing, reducing the need for team and huge stuff that's happening in the background, and instead bringing those pieces together and creating a pathway where you have a conversion staircase. You're compounding that intent and that desire and that purchasing power and allowing your prospects to self lead themselves to a conversion, which is ultimately what we all want. We want people to be self led in making decisions. We do not want to feel like we are driving and pushing that. They should be driving that. That is when we create empowered and eager yeses without you needing to pressure them to get there. So I want you to walk away from this asking yourself, first and foremost, am I going to be resonant Rhonda or am I going to be everywhere Emily? That's step one. I want you to send me a message and let me know which one that is. Number two is I want you to ask yourself, do I want to have a system that compounds on that demand, compounds on that intent, allows people to come to me and say yes? If the answer is yes, you and I need to have a chat because it's exactly what allows my clients to work smarter and not harder. It's the reason we've revolutionized the industry and removed the need for 40-hour plus weeks or having huge teams just in order to enjoy freedom in our business. I want you to understand the difference. And this is evident in the ability for my clients to skyrocket their revenue from 15 to 75K months with clients who are paying in full enthusiastically and recommending their services. This inbound strategy combines mimic decision making with a one-touch content system, creating a clear pathway for your clients to recognize that you are exactly who they've been working for. With just 4 pieces of strategic psychology-infused content, you can turn your business into a powerful client generation machine. So honestly, this system has changed the game for so many of my clients, like Courtney, who can show up and just share 2 to 3 pieces of content a week and have her offerings at full capacity. Or Anna, who's able to leverage the system to book $24,000 in revenue in the first 21 days of working together. Or Marissa, who's able to sign 5 new clients in a week just using the system. Imagine navigating through a maze without a map, with a bewildering puzzle as your co-pilot, adding to the confusion. It's frustrating, it's time-consuming, it's overwhelming, leaving you feeling lost and drained. This is what the strategy of Omnipresence can feel like. But with the inbound demand system, it's like having a skilled guide by your side. Not only do you get a map, but you receive expert guidance to navigate that maze with ease. You can confidently create predictability and sustainability in your business that allows you to have clients who self-lead themselves to a yes. My goal for you is that once you've created inbound demand, then you can automate the repetitive parts of your marketing and selling process so you can focus more on your clients and continue delivering amazing results to them. And that starts with shifting away from the omnipresent, everywhere Emily strategy that has you navigating through that maze without a map and now has you as the incredible Resonant Rhonda who's truly driving and creating and sustaining demand. This is why I am so passionate about the EZS method and why it's the answer to unlocking what we call high profit scaling ecosystems that allow you to drive massive results, scaling your business without scaling your time, and allowing you to create a business that fulfills itself and gets your leads to sell themselves. And it comes down to 3 things. Number 1 is developing your innovative advantage. This is where we create and identify your innovation and then create the messaging that communicates that all through what we call our innovative gap methodology. You walk away being the founder of your innovative methodology, your intellectual property that can now become your bestseller book, all the way to licensing or franchising your business should you choose to, or creating a certification program because you've developed the innovative methodology that people are clamoring over. Step 2 is creating the infinite sales highway, which combines, again, your inbound demand system as well as your bingeable sales system to create a systemized and automated approach to creating conversions in your business where your leads are able to sell themselves. And ultimately, part 3 is creating what we call the pure profit strategy, which takes driving world-class results for your clients at scale so that you're not just bringing in new clients, but you're actually creating results for those clients at scale so that they become your best salespeople, shouting about the results they've gotten from you, from anyone that will listen, so that you can create the 2 best leads in your business, which are retaining existing leads and referrals. So if you're ready to take the next step, learn about how the EZS method can be applied within your business, and you want a real straight talk on how this can work and if it can work in your business, I want to invite you to book a call with me. On our Growth Optimizer call, it's you and me. We're sitting down, we're having an honest face-to-face conversation. I'll give you a demo of what this would look like in your business, but I'll also let you walk away with, at minimum, the key gaps within your business and exactly what you can solve for in order to add revenue to your business without adding more stuff. So to book your call, head on over to ezsleads.com/call. But if you want to learn a little bit more about our methodology, exactly what it looks like with all the details and all the bells and whistles, head on over to ezsleads.com to check out our free free bingeable mini series where I break down exactly how we use the Netflix effect to get your leads to sell themselves. And as always, we appreciate when you subscribe, share, and rate this episode so that we can turn your message into a movement. But until next time, here's to keeping it real.